Let's watch to see if it happens. This content, okay, so it's starting to happen. Setting it up. I don't want to click away. Done. Redirecting to YouTube, and here we are live on YouTube. And I'll give this thing a quick refresh. Waiting for it to not be public. I mean, not be private. It's still showing as private. I guess that'll take a minute. And then once, there we go. Now the chat's open. Ask me anything here in the chat. And brainstorm with me at Prouty.me. Beautiful. Okay. Let me open up the chat for you. I will share with you the concept of obstacle courses. That was easy to say. Obstacle courses, hurdles, and friction. That's what we're going to talk about initially. I'll open up the chat. You can ask me any questions that you want here on the Zoom. Done. That is open. All right, that's open. And now let me just get the YouTube on my screen so I can see chat coming in there, and we're good there. Great, we're good, and we're good everywhere. And whoever is already watching on YouTube, thanks for being here. You can ask me anything. All right, let's talk about obstacle courses. Let's talk about hurdles, and let's talk about friction. So the first concept, this entire discussion is around how people can get to you. Because as you grow, you're going to want to be very selective on who can get to you. And so in the context of getting people on your calendar so that you can present some information to them, and then they can say to you, how do I work with you? Because that's really what we all want, is that we want people on our calendars so we can educate them. And then they say, well, how do we work together? That's how all my sales calls go. People come on my sales calls. I'm like, tell me what you're doing. Here's some actionable advice. Do you have any questions? Yes. How do we work together? Well, here's how we work together. And then they're like, I'll take that one. And then we sign them up. And I close, I think, about 80%. Maybe a little more than that. Most people come on the calls ready to buy. As you grow, you're going to go through times where you have too many sales calls, or you're too busy servicing your clients to handle a lot of sales calls. So it's at that point that the obstacle course, the hurdle, and the friction come into play. I see questions queuing up. I'll make sure I answer those. So an obstacle course would be a prospect having to do certain things before they can get on your calendar. This can be as simple as they have to find a page that gets them to your calendar, a page that might not be linked on your website. So an obstacle course is going to be you're putting something in the way of them getting to your calendar. And the people who are your best prospects will gladly go through that obstacle course. If you have provided enough value on the socials when they were unknown to you, they were the cold prospect, and you provided value and you provided education and you inspired them, you built a bond with them, they will gladly go through an obstacle course. So an obstacle course could be, they have a hard time. First of all, it's hard to find the page to book with you. Then they get to the page and it's not just name and email. It's name, email, how long have you been in business? Have you had paying clients? How much money did you make last year in big round numbers? What have you tried that hasn't worked? What's your LinkedIn profile? And so that's an obstacle. That's an obstacle course. They have to go through all of those things. That survey information comes to me and I can use it to evaluate whether or not I truly want to meet with this individual. So they would fill out that survey, they'd get a thank you, and then it's up to me to send them the meeting link. So there's yet another part of the obstacle course is they got to watch their email to get the link, then they have to go book it. So that's what I mean by an obstacle course. And there's lots of things you can do to introduce obstacles. Make them fill out surveys before they book, after they book. You can have certain requirements. I used to have a page that had built-in logic, and the less information they gave me, the more they would have to do downstream. So people would generally abandon. The goal here is to get the people who are most interested in you and what you do to go through the obstacle course to get to your calendar. And the people who are less interested in working with you, they'll fall away. When you do this, you tend to get a higher show-up rate on calls and consequently a higher close rate. So that's the obstacle course. Hurdles are built into that obstacle course. So if we're specifically talking about getting on your calendar to meet with you, you can introduce hurdles before they book the call. So that'll result in fewer bookings. Or you can introduce hurdles after they book the call. That will reduce fewer meetings on the back end. Either case, you'll get fewer meetings, you'll get higher quality meetings, but there's one that I prefer to do before or after. I'll share that with you in just a minute. And by the way, if you're here on YouTube, thanks for being here. I put a link in the chat for my calendar, which is prouty.me, if you want to brainstorm with me about your unique situation and how you can attract more clients to your business, then just hop on that link and book a call. So introducing a hurdle is as simple as asking more questions or making them do something prior to them getting to your calendar. So we can introduce hurdles before the booking, or we can introduce hurdles after the booking. And so you guys know me well enough. Which do you think I prefer? You can tell me in the chat. Do you think I prefer the before introduce the hurdle or the after? I'll take a quick sip. I got one vote for before. I got one vote for after. So the question becomes, what happens when they book the meeting? What happens when they book the meeting that I would prefer either before or after? The answer is after, by the way. And the reason it's after is hey, Samson, glad you're here. The reason I prefer after is because when they book the meeting, I get an email address. All of the money in your client acquisition, hey, Rukia, all of the money in your client acquisition is hidden in the follow-up. And even if I had many sales calls this week, but I had 3 sales calls that didn't show up. So they didn't show up on the call, but guess what? I've got their email address. So now I can put them into a recapture, what I call a recapture sequence. My recapture email sequence sends them messages that says, hey, you missed the call. Things happen. Schedules get busy. Technology sometimes goes weird. For whatever the reason, here's a link that you can rebook. And so what I'm doing is I'm removing a hurdle and I'm removing the obstacle course. And I'm saying, here, just get back on the calendar. I don't have to do that. If I have enough meetings, I'm getting enough sales, never enough sales, by the way, then I don't have to, then I can introduce, I don't have to write to them. You missed a meeting. Well, guess what? No meeting for you. Ever. You never come back onto my calendar. And I know, there have been times where I've done that. I've got things more wide open right now because I'm in a grow phase. You guys in the program know about the grow, break, fix. I'm in a grow phase. So a lot of things are breaking, and one thing that's breaking is people getting on my calendar and not showing up. So that's, got to fix that. So then you can introduce sequences that ensure people show up. But the reason that I like to introduce the survey after they book the call is because it's very easy to book a call with a name and an email address. So now I've got the email address. I can nurture them to make sure they fill out the hurdle, the survey afterwards, to make sure they show up on the call, to make sure that I can follow up with them after the call, recapture them if they don't show up on the call. But if I introduce the hurdle prior to the booking, now people are going to fall away. And so if I want to have a calendar that has higher quality meetings, put the hurdle before. But if I want to build my email list and still prevent the meetings, have the hurdle after. And so doing that is step number one is give me your name and your email. Easy, boom, click. Now their email goes into my CRM. Next page is the hurdle. Go through the hurdle. Next page is my calendar. Now you can pick a time. If I reversed those and I put the hurdle or the obstacle course before name and email, and I gave them a long survey to fill out, people will go away and I won't get their email address. So now what I'm doing is I'm loading up my calendar and I'm capturing email addresses. So why is it important to capture the email addresses? Because even if they don't show up on the call, I can put them into sequences. So I can put them into sales sequences. I can have a sale, for example, like my pitch course, which I will offer for $4. So I can put them into a sequence to buy that course. Now I've got them as a client. Even if they didn't show up on the call, I can still sell to them through email. So the point is where you introduce the friction, and friction is another word for all of this. Friction is the stuff that keeps them from moving forward. You have to be very strategic about where you put it. And so how can I guide you on this if I'm not sitting there with you? Well, I would say that you're thinking about introducing a survey. Ask yourself, if I make them, this is the strategy, by the way. If you're like, oh, I normally just take bookings. Oh, but maybe I should put a survey. Ask yourself, what's the difference between putting this first and putting this second or third, first or third? What's the difference? And is there a difference? What's the change that happens on the other side of this? If I put it first and people go through, well, I know I've got a higher quality prospect that's booked. If I put it third and I get their name and email, well, now I've gotten a name and email, even if people don't go through. It could be because they got intimidated, or maybe they were concerned about security and they didn't want to put information in the form, or maybe they got busy or distracted. So do I get a benefit by putting it third? The end result is I still get the same information and I'll still get the same quality calls on the calendar, but now I've got one additional person I can sell to. And if that happens 100 times a week, or 10 times a week, depending on where you're at in your growth, if that happens, you've got 10 additional people you can sell to. And and then in 10 weeks, at a 3% close rate, you could have 3 new clients just from that one small shift, that one small change. So when it comes to getting to you and getting to your calendar so that you can do these sales calls, introducing an obstacle course, making it harder to get to you. I'll talk about that in a second, Frida. Give me 1 second. Introducing the obstacle course, making it hard to even find how to get to you. Introducing a hurdle that they got to jump over in order to get to you. And then introducing friction. Friction is like the more questions you ask on the survey, the more friction you're introducing. And you truly do want the people who want to work with you to get through this. You could even ask them questions. Hey, are you working with somebody else? Do you have somebody else that you're doing your blank with right now? You might not want to work with those people. You could introduce logic, and if they answer that question, they never get to your calendar. So we're introducing all of these things to purify the meetings that we do get. Then, like right now, I'm going through a growth phase. I want to have as many meetings as possible. And I've also built up authority and expertise and experience. I'm demonstrating all of that on the socials. Like the YouTube channel is providing me with nearly 100% of my meetings right now. The YouTube channel is doing a magnificent job of generating new business for me. And I knew it would, which is why, which is why I work so hard on it. And it's passive now. I could not make a video for 3 months and it would continue to feed me meetings. And this is all organic, but I busted my ass to make it happen. You can too. And now the YouTube channel is just churning it out. Hey, Pavanesh, I'll get to your question in just a minute. And I see Mohammed, there's a question in there, and Samson, there's a question as well. So we got a bunch of questions queued up and some questions here on the inside in the Zoom. I'm going to get to those. But before I do, if you are watching here on YouTube, whether you're watching live or you're watching on a replay, and you want to make an investment in yourself, and it's not that much, the amount for the inner circle, it's laughably inexpensive, even if you're in a foreign country. But if you're in a foreign country and you're selling into the US, you can make the kind of money that you would make living here in the US. And your cost of living is less where you are. So you might even have more disposable income. If that sounds intriguing to you, and you'd like to see me like 4 times a week in a private capacity where I share all the secrets, Prouty.me, which is my calendar link, my last name.me, will get you on my calendar. The call goes like this. I ask you a bunch of questions. I give you a bunch of advice. And then I make an offer for you to come into my program. So now there's my big sales evil plan, is that I ask you about you, I help you, and then I ask you if you want help more. And to get help more, you come into one of my programs. So Prouty.me is the access to my calendar. I currently have no hurdles, friction, or obstacle courses in place. Let's get to some of these questions. Oh, and by the way, the point there is you can remove hurdles. Like, let's imagine, or you can ease the obstacle course. Imagine you have an obstacle course where you don't have your calendar linked from your homepage on your website. You could then put the link back. Or you don't have your calendar in your LinkedIn profile because you want it to be an obstacle course. That's more a needle in a haystack, isn't it? For a metaphor, that's the needle in the haystack. So then you could reveal where the needle is by putting your calendar everywhere. If you're a YouTuber, if you've been through the YouTube training and you're building your YouTube channel, I don't recommend any particular piece of software to do this, but there are some softwares that will edit every single one of your YouTube video descriptions where you can prepend information. So if you wanted to reveal the needle, then you could use that software and you could add your calendar link to the beginning of every single video description. And so I'm getting, I think 13,000 views every couple of weeks. So that would mean 13,000 people would see my calendar link. You think some of them are going to convert? Yeah. So that's how you can reveal the needle. And then when your calendar fills up and you don't want to do it anymore, remind me to tell you, I'll give you some calendar tips too. Then you can use that software to take it out or not. If you're in the Inner Circle program and you know how to use an easy to remember link, you could, send them to an obstacle course then. You could send them to, instead of just sending them right to Calendly, send them to an obstacle course. So with this system, we've got all of these building blocks that you can add or take away to make it easier for people to get to you. You get a lot of meetings? Add. You want more meetings? Take away. The more you take away, the lower quality your meetings are going to be. 3 people bonked on me this week. They booked a time. They filled out a 1-question survey that asked what they wanted to get out of the call. They gave me great information. And then there were no-shows. So they're now in a recovery sequence, a re-engage, recovery. Let's get them back in. Let's see if we can help them. Okay. On your calendar, one tip about your calendar, 7 days. When you configure your calendar, no meetings beyond the current 7 days. So today until a week from yesterday. That's it. If you make your calendar the default, which is like 30 days, people are going to book, people want to book with you, but then they're like, people love to put things off. So they're going to book with you, but they're going to book it 25 days out, and then they're going to completely forget about the meeting. No matter how much you remind them, they're not going to show up. So configure your calendar so that it's 7 days out or less, even 3 days out. That's going to increase your show up rate. Questions. Let's get to some questions. Question, sorry, that was my mouth not working. Do you strategically drive traffic leads from LinkedIn to YouTube or vice versa or both? So here's what I want: all traffic to go to YouTube. The reason I want traffic to go to YouTube is because I find that people will binge watch my content. They won't do that on LinkedIn. And so if you remember the rule of they got to see you a lot over a long period of time, if I can get people to binge watch my content, I've got one person in the pipeline right now who's about to close as private client. And they told me that in their office, it's a company, in their office, they dedicate time every day to watching the YouTube channel, which is a complete, oh, what an honor is that, right? But that's why they want to hire me, is because they have a dedicated time where people get together in the conference room and they put it up on the TV. He's telling me all of this. They put it up on the TV and they watch my training. That's what got them to reach out to me. So the flow for me is YouTube, and most of my traffic comes from search. So Google, YouTube, search, content, LinkedIn, connection, conversation, meeting, close. Or YouTube and Google, on-demand workshop, close into the inner circle, because the inner circle is so ridiculously inexpensive. I had an inner circle member message me this week. It was a hostile message. They were like, you don't charge enough for the inner circle. They were looking out for me. They're like, you don't charge enough for the inner circle for everything we're getting. I'm like, relax. There's a reason. It's all science. There is a reason. So I want everyone to go to YouTube so they can binge watch the content and become my buddies, my YouTube buddies. I had, you want to see something cool that I did? I don't know if I can show this to you while I'm streaming to YouTube. I had someone, if you look at my latest videos on YouTube just from a couple of days ago, I had someone, not a client. She seems really nice. She seems like she'd be a great client. She does exactly what, a lot of you guys do. She asked a question about, trying to think of the days, how the days worked on this. On Tuesday, she asked a question in a comment on a video. And it was an older video, but she asked a question. She said, I'm a 27-year-old nurse. I work with 40-year-old executives who are looking to lose weight and get a healthy lifestyle. I don't have anything in common with these people. How do I communicate with them in a sales and delivery capacity? What a great question. Instead of me typing up this long answer to her, you guys who have seen how I roll here with my video setup, I just said, hey, phone, let's record a video. And I just turned around and I just started talking. And I recorded for maybe 12 minutes, edited it down to 7 minutes, posted it as a video on my YouTube channel. And then I wrote a comment to her and I said, I answered your question in a video. Here's the link. And I gave the link. She wrote back and she's like, wow. But what was cool about this for me is, first of all, you guys on the inside, you know how easy it is for me. What's cool about it is I didn't have to search for content to create. My audience told me what content they want me to create. Made the video, led with education, led with generosity, gave results in advance. Who's she going to go to? Hey, who knows? Maybe she's watching this. Hi, Danny. I'll say that. I'll say hi, Danny. Maybe she's watching this. Who's she going to go to when she's ready to hire somebody to be her mentor? So all roads lead to YouTube, but a lot of people go from YouTube to LinkedIn to communicate with me there. I wish there was an easier way for them to chat with me right through YouTube. Wouldn't that be cool if there was a YouTube chat feature right on YouTube, not like Google Chat, which is in the Google Suite, but right from YouTube chat with me. I'd kind of dig that. Okay, that was a great question. Thank you for that. How do you handle sales calls when they're surprised that you actually charge for your services? I hang up on them. I do. When the moment someone's surprised that they have to pay to work with me, I end the call. You gotta end it. And so that's why I start my sales calls with here's how this is going to kind of work. This is going to be, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I'm going to give you some advice, and then I'm going to make an offer for you to come into one of my paid programs. How does that sound to you? If at that point they go, oh wait, you charge for what you do? You know what I do, and I just realized that I got to go see a man about a fish, and I get them off the call. Just get them off the call. I don't hide the fact that I tell them it's not a sales call in disguise because it's not. It's a sales call. There's no disguising it. And I tell them at the beginning of the call so that when it comes time to close them at the end, there's no surprises. There's no, oh, what do you mean you charge for what you do? By the way, the people who are surprised that you charge for what you do are going to be the worst clients ever. Ever. You will get no results for those people. So get them off the call early and get your time back and go do something else. That's a beautiful question. I have 7-day free trial in the inner circle. There's a little bit of friction there because they got to give a credit card to do it. A little bit of friction there. But if people are surprised, then bring that up earlier to save your time. That's a great question. When does the survey show up? After they book a time? It depends. My flow is like this. I could draw this for you, but I think it's pretty easy to describe. My flow is like this. Give me your name and your email, survey, calendar. Right now, the survey has been removed because I've reduced the hurdles. So name and email. The confirmation page for that form goes to a survey. Then that goes to a booking. Alternately, name and email, calendar, and then you email them the survey. And if they don't respond to your email, you cancel the appointment. How do you balance staying consistent with the content strategy on social and taking meetings and writing proposals and onboarding clients after a 60-day sprint that brought a flurry of leads coming in from following the advice? I'm having trouble with this. So this is where my schedule really works to my advantage. And so here's my schedule. You guys on YouTube, get ready for an earful. I'll draw this for you. Here's my schedule. One of my teachers taught me this, and this is the most magical, this is the most magical thing in the world. Sunday, I eat a lot. I hang out with the kids. I do a lot of stuff with the kids on Sundays. I do faith-based stuff because it's Sunday. Got to do it, right? I fix the house. God, if I feel like it, I fix the house. You wouldn't believe the crap that I have to fix this weekend. You would not believe the crap that has, I don't know. I think my kids wake up in the morning determined to destroy the house. I really do. Like, I don't want to put in a new kitchen. Stop destroying my kitchen. And then at 8 p.m., night, kids. And I work from, I'll take a shower. I'll work from 8:30 or 9 o'clock until 12 or 1. And during that time, it is all prep for success for the week. I am setting myself up for success for the week. That's the only thing I think about. That's my Sunday. My Monday. Monday is all private clients. Private clients get me for 45 minutes. It always goes to an hour, and I stack them. That's the new way of spelling it. I stack them up all day. My last call, like, guys, I'm not screwing around here. I start at 9 a.m. is my first call. My last call ends at 10 p.m. Usually goes to 10:30. 10 p.m. Monday is just stacked up private clients. Put them all in there. It's exhausting and it's incredible. Tuesday is a combination of private client and growth and the mastermind. So anybody who can't meet with me on Mondays, they get me on Tuesdays for private client, and then the mastermind takes up 2 hours of Tuesday. Then all of that stuff ends right around the crack of 2 p.m. I begin monk mode. Now, monk mode for me is seriously just my Wednesday, but I say I begin it at 2 p.m. I have open time for sales calls from 3 to 5. It's like 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So I can sneak in, I do 15-minute calls. So I can sneak in a bunch of calls there. So that's my Tuesday. Monk mode, really, I try to begin it at 2 p.m. I will take sales calls. Wednesday, you guys know this. Wednesday, I do 8 a.m. to noon, monk mode. 1 to 5, monk mode. 9 to 1, monk mode. I do 3 4-hour blocks of isolated, dedicated work. I get a ton of stuff done. That is my real, the stuff I get done on Wednesdays would scare most people. Thursday is, what do we do on Thursdays? Oh, Thursday AM, open for sales calls. And then it is inner circle and sales calls in the open for sales calls in, oh, galvanized. Sorry, mastermind. We'll call it the mastermind because I think people on YouTube have no idea what that is. So then it's the mastermind and then sales calls and onboarding and follow-ups. I'm the worst at this, by the way. Should be better at it. So that's when I do all of the stuff that's overwhelming you right now. I lie about my Fridays. I say that I could go to the beach in the morning. I never do that. I say I can. I have never actually done it. Am I lying? Have I ever gone to the beach? Anybody know if I've actually ever gone to the beach on a Friday morning? I don't think so. Let me know if you have ever seen me on the beach on a Friday morning in messages or whatever, tell me. I don't think I actually ever have. That's when I do secret classes. You guys know that. And then I do the open Q&A. And then the afternoon is for sales calls, onboarding, and follow-up. And follow-up. Saturday is very much like Sunday, except I don't eat. I stop eating at 6 p.m. on Friday, and I don't eat until 6 a.m. on Sunday. So Saturday is exactly the same as Sunday, except I don't eat a bite of food. And I don't practice my faith. No, Saturday is not like Sunday at all, actually. Saturday, I fast. I still, you guys know my exercise routine. So I fast, so I don't eat a bite of food, nothing, zero, water and black coffee, and that's it. Kids, house, and then I do a 4-hour work block at night. After the kids go to bed, I wait for the kids to go to bed because it breaks my heart when they have to ask me if I have to work because they want to spend time. They want to play their dumb games with me. I'll miss it when they're gone. Oh my God. I'll miss it when they grow up. Holy my God. I'll miss it when they grow up. Okay. So that's how I organize my week. You can literally pick a day and an hour at any point into the future, and you will know what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, what I'm eating or not eating. When you name a day and a time, any year, any day into the future, just tell me what day of the week it is, tell me the time, I know what I'm doing because I am a robot and I don't vary from this. And I don't travel. I don't do anything fun because everything is fun that I do. I don't I don't vary from this, and I get really, really, really agitated if something takes me away from this. I am a scheduled, regimented, disciplined, do not waver machine because I know what it can do for a business when you do that. And that might not be for you. And that is okay if it's not. It is not okay if it's not for me. It is for me because my highest value, what I value most in this world, is growing my business and helping you. And I am not, and making money. And I will never apologize for that. I will never shy away from saying that. My life is dedicated. My number one value before my family, before my physical fitness, it is dedicated to you. It is dedicated to this because it is what gives me the most fulfillment. Why? Because it is what floods blood glucose, proteins, oxygen, oxytocin to the front of my brain. And when that happens, I am happier than doing anything else on the face of the earth. You could tell me that my favorite music artist is playing a concert and they want me to sit on stage and watch them. I'm still going to say, but can I please work instead? Because this is what fulfills me. It does not have to fulfill you. Conflict in life arises when others expect you to live the way they live and to fulfill their values. It doesn't work that way. You don't have to live this way, but I do. So to answer your question, how do you fit it all in? You become a machine. And that machine fits it all in. What you don't see in here is I run the moment I get up in the morning and I run before dinner time. What you don't see in here is I only eat one meal a day, except for Saturdays where I eat no meals. And Sundays where I eat from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I eat from pretty much 5:30 to 6. That's it. I only eat one meal a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I eat nothing on Saturday, and I eat from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. So I am extremely dedicated to this. Once I discovered this schedule, it changed everything for me. It changed everything for me. I look forward to Wednesdays more than I look forward to any other day of the week. I look forward to Saturday nights because the work that I do on Saturday nights would just blow your mind. I look forward to Mondays because literally I had a private client yesterday. See, she was there this morning, not here now. I had a private client yesterday, like cheering her hands in the air. And then I had one today that had such an opening experience about something she's working on that she like was almost weeping when we uncovered something. So I'm jacked on Mondays and Tuesdays. By the way, Mondays and Tuesdays is where I make the money. And you guys in the inside know what goes on with the inner circle, right? So that's the answer. That's the long, long, long answer to your question. Is my life boring by your values? Maybe. It's not for me. Not boring for me at all. I love that question. I'm really glad you asked that question. Here's a question about your comment on calendar. I have it set up so that they have 3 days a week to meet with me, and it's a 4-week window. Bring that down to a 1-week window. Just get those meetings. Just get the meetings and handle those meetings that week. If they don't want to book that quickly, they're a bad meeting. Thanks, Chris. I followed your advice for following up as we're on a call, and I heard back from a potential client who's planning on working with me. All right, that's great. I'm psyched about that. Get the no early on, save time. That's smart. Good. Yes. Any updates on the CRM? I'm so close. I'm so close. I want to release that to you. I do want to. So I'm. Oh, I want to release that to you. You know what? Let's talk about that on Thursday because that's going to be something that I'm offering at a massive discount to Inner Circle. Let's talk about that on Thursday. Bring that up on Thursday. And you know what? I'm going to say it right now. I will have it ready to go on Thursday. Oh, shoot. There goes my Saturday and Sunday nights. I will have it ready to go on Thursday in some capacity. Somebody says, how's your Achilles? Hurts. Hurts less. Good. I should go get my ice sock and put it on right now, actually. I'm running a race tomorrow night. The good news is it doesn't interrupt any of my blocks. I like LinkedIn, quite active. We're connected for a long time. Thanks, Samson. I'm glad that we're connected. As a data strategy consultant, how do I get my first client? Mohammed, as a data strategy consultant, you're going to get your first client by flooding your socials with educational information about what data strategy can do for someone, can benefit them. You want to create wildly educational content about data strategy and how it can help a person or an organization. Mohammed, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. And then I'm going to show you how to get your first client. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the old Google and we're going to type data strategy in business. And then you're going to go to people also ask right here. And you're going to click and close. This is great. This is great. You guys who have known this a while, like this is the best. Who needs who needs an AI? I'm going to use Google's AI for free right here. Mohammed, you are going to create content that answers all of these questions, and you're going to post it once a day for the next 2 weeks. That is going to build a collection of, by the way, Inner Circle and Galvanize, you should be listening. That's going to build a collection of authoritative information that demonstrates experience, that demonstrates expertise, that makes you trustworthy. You're going to build your content. You're going to post 15 things or 14 things over the next 2 weeks. Every single human that comments or likes on this content has behaviorally indicated an interest in data strategy. You are then going to send them messages of gratitude for their interaction with your content. You are not going to pitch to them or make an offer or anything. You're just going to start the conversation. Then you're going to create a lead magnet that answers the most burning question you can find about data strategy. You're going to publish it, but in exchange for an email address somewhere. And then if you post 15 articles, you're going to get 10, 15, 20, 30, depending on how big your following is. You're going to get people with behavioral indicators of interest. You're going to reach out to all of them and say, hey, I just created this awesome ebook on X. Would you like it? Let me know. And then you're going to send it to them. And then you're going to follow up with them and say, do you have any questions? The people that say they have questions, you're going to get them on calls. You're going to answer those questions, and then you're going to make an offer to work with you. That's how you're going to get your first client. If you start that today, I would say by mid-March, you should be well on your way. But it takes time and dedication. You guys in the Inner Circle, you already know this. You already know this stuff. Let's go back to YouTube. Hold on. I find that no, so somebody says you have time on your calendar until late in the day. Do you find that people book in the after work? No, I find that most people either book very early in the day or late afternoon. So 9 a.m. or 3 p.m., those kind of times. I want to prove that I can get success with $0. I didn't mean lifelong, but for the first client. After that, I will invest money. So how do I get my first client? You have to change your mindset. Pavanesh, you have to change your mindset. Your mindset is flawed. Your mindset is, I was going to use a different F word. Your mindset is flawed. If your mindset is, I want to get result for no money, listen to me, and I'm yelling at you, and I'm sorry, all the way over there, wherever you live. If your mindset is, I want to get my first client without paying a cent, you're going to attract to you people who want the results that you get without paying a cent. So if you help people lose weight and you charge $1,500 to work with someone for 12 months, you're going to attract to you exactly who you are. And this is going to be people who come to you and say, I want to work with you and I want to pay you the $1,500, but let me lose the first 10 pounds without paying anything. That's exactly who you're going to connect with and attract. You have a flawed mindset. I love you. I love you, Pavanesh. I do. And I love you for being here and subscribing and being a part of this mission. And I say this to you from the heart. Until you change your mindset, you have Eileen, put on your earplugs. You have a mindset. And until you change your mindset, you are going to attract people with the same exact mindset. I want what you have, but I want to prove I can do it without you. That is beyond messed up. That is so beyond my comprehension. Let me put it another way. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, why on earth would you expect anyone to invest in you? You're not, and you won't, and they won't. So you might as well go get the job applicant. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know how much more I can say. Go get a job somewhere. Because you're going to fail as a business person if that's your mindset. You're going to fail. You will fail. You will attract to you exactly who you are. You are a living magnet. You are a living force of gravity. And until you're willing to invest in yourself, do not expect anyone to invest in you. You will bring people to you who say, I love it. I want to work with you. I want to pay you for X. Let me try to do it on my own first and prove to myself. Just go get a job somewhere, dude. Because it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Right? Yeah, go talk to Eileen. Look, Eileen, opportunistic. Eileen jumps in. Eileen enters the game in the YouTube conversation, offering to help get him a job. Eileen. Oh my God. Eileen, I love that. Oh my God. How do you get your first client? Just go get a job somewhere. Because that attitude ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pavanesh, I do wish you the best. I really do. I really do. Yeah. I wish you an abundance of wealth from Lakshmi. You know, I wish you that. But I gotta tell you, until you change that mindset, it ain't happening for you. It ain't happening for you. Somebody says that they lost their $100 bookmark and then they found it yesterday. That is a good sign. That is a great sign. So, somebody says you have binge-worthy content. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Mustafa, I always love it when you come by and visit. Thank you for visiting today, Mustafa. How do you keep from burnout? You keep from burnout by doing something that you love to do so much that you would do it 24 hours a day. You'll never get burnt out. You will never, ever get burnt out if you love what you do, if it fulfills your highest value. You will never get burnt out. Burnout will never even seem like a thing to you. You have the same values, but you're experiencing burnout. It's time to sit down and really examine your values. Because you're experiencing burnout, it means that you're doing something that doesn't inspire you. You're doing something that you don't value. That's where you feel burnout. So what I want you to do is sit down and list all of your activities and identify the ones that you procrastinate, delay, need a reminder, need a to-do list to do. Those are the things that you're not totally inspired to do, that you don't value the most. They're making you feel burnt out because they're working back here. If you need a reminder to do it, it's here. Okay? And there's Eileen. Oh my God. Oh my God. Eileen, you're the best. Okay, boy, we did it. We hit all the questions. If I missed a question, would you tell me? Somebody says I need to yell at Pavanesh a little bit more. Oh, Pavanesh, I wish I could I just wish I could take that mindset right out of your brain. You attract who you are. You attract who you are. And no one will invest in you if you're not willing to invest in yourself. They just won't. It just doesn't work that way. And you might get short-lived success every once in a while. We call that luck. But over time, you're just going to attract who you are. And if you're the person who collects information, you're going to attract people who just collect information. If you're the person who doesn't implement, you're going to attract people who don't implement. If you're the person that looks for free, you're going to attract the person that looks for free. So how do you get your first client? Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. So somebody, a very nice compliment. Thank you. I appreciate you being on everybody's level so fluently. I asked many of these questions my first year with you. Thank you so much. Somebody says, become your first client. Now I've got people in the inner circle who are yelling at people on YouTube. Crazy. All right. We're at the top of the hour. Any one final question? No, 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 no. Don't admire me for that. Just you listen, here, somebody just paid me a massive compliment. Um, here's what I want you to do. Somebody just elevated me above them. What I want you to do, and I'm not going to say what you said or who you are, what I want you need to write down all of the characteristics in me that you admire as a figure, right? As a blank figure. You need to write down all the characteristics you admire. And then I want you to take some time and find examples of all of those characteristics in your own life. You and I are exactly the same. We have the exact same characteristics. The only difference is I put them at, I've just done different things with them. That's it. You have absolutely all of the same characteristics as me in that. Somebody says, what do you mean invest in yourself? I'm asking for my friend Pavanesh. You've got to spend time and money and get yourself in the room. You want to know where the room is? It's here. I'm pointing at the Zoom. This is the room. These people will kick your butts if I'm not. It's an investment in time. It's an investment in money. It's an investment in dedication. It's rolling up your sleeves. All right, YouTube, I'm going to shut down the YouTube stream. Let me just check in on YouTube, make sure I didn't miss anything. Eileen's still there. Eileen, you are just wild. You are just wild. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you for being here. YouTube, I'm going to shut down the YouTube stream and say farewell